Let's talk about the community center and art center. I think that's a good transition.
Yeah, I think, just like we see on Facebook in Buffalo, when Chipotle coming, we see a lot of conversation about why doesn't Buffalo have a community center? I mean, we're a community of 16,000, 17,000 people now, right? We're the county seat of Wright County, and we don't have any of those amenities in our community. And so this isn't about forcing it onto the community. This is about having a dialogue about what are our needs, right? If you want to reduce taxes in Buffalo, that's a topic of conversation you see on the interwebs. Best way to reduce taxes, grow the community. Yeah. How do you grow the community? You create an environment where people want to spend their time, their dollars, their effort, in the community. So it really becomes a conversation about amenities. And this is a big, giant hole in our portfolio of things that we have to offer as a community. And so for it to start, you can't go to the city and say, hey, city, can we please have a community center? No, it's about us as community members rallying around the notion, having that feedback, having that input, and then do something about it, right? And so that's what we're doing.
This is the Buffalo Community Podcast, all about the greatest small town in the USA, the people in it, and how it all works together. Here are your hosts, Tyler Reiss and Mark Benzer.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Buffalo Community Podcast. We're already on our 75th episode, and it's sure to be an amazing one because we've got a second-time guest, Pugs Hayes, here. First-time guest, but your wife was on here earlier.
Yes.
And actually, she taught us some swear words. Actually, some of her stuff is up there. But anyway, welcome, and we're gonna be talking about the Cruise, Brews, and Q Roundup.
That's
and
it.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you want to go or should I go?
Go for it.
Yep,
All right,
knock it out of
so
the park.
This is actually the first year that we're going to be. It's this organized. We did kind of a pre-run last year, and it worked out really, really well. So, yeah, the Cruise, Brews, and Q Roundup. It's going to be hosted with Hayes Public House, with FNG BBQ. They're going to be doing all the food. The fundraiser itself is going to be for BCAC, which Brad later on can get into. We're going to have a big car show. We work with the city. Pulled permits. They're allowing us to shut down roads and streets. So we're going to go all the way up from the pub, all the way up to BJ's Deli. And
Nice.
We're going to hopefully load the streets with classic cars and bikes and
Minivans. No,
pre-75.
Oh, shoot. All right.
Pre-75.
2011? No? Okay.
However, if you do have a really cool, 80s minivan, that's perfect. We wouldn't turn them away, would we?
Right. Yeah.
The Woody Caravan.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it's about. I mean, everything's in the name. We got 4 bands lined up, so there's going to be music all day. First band goes on at 1:30, and the last band goes on at 7. But, yeah, some really good music, rockabilly, old school, Americana stuff.
You got to Google rockabilly outfit.
Rockabilly outfit.
So then you know what to wear.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Dress
Right.
to impress. You don't have to, but dress to impress.
It's
Highly
encouraged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun. It's just a good time for everyone to get together and have some fun and drink some beer. And
Do people have to register their cars? Do they have to register in advance to park something there? What?
Yeah, let's talk about that process a little bit, right? I'm sure you'll throw out there the link to the site.
Yep,
BuffaloMN.us. Super simple, BuffaloMN.us. And out there is a link to the event, tells you all the details of what's going on, has a picture of what we're closing down so people can see where parking is. And then there's a little button that says, buy a ticket. And the ticket will get you either into the car show, not into it's free for everybody to attend, but if you want to bring your car,
Sure.
you can pre-order. We'll have a bag for you with some tchotchkes, maybe some handouts from Edina Realty.
I could probably find some
Maybe,
swag.
right? Some swag.
Round something up.
Everybody loves pencils.
This is the time to ask, right? Right, Pugs? We ask
Yeah.
now so they can't say no.
Cut this part out.
And then
You want some really shitty frisbees?
Yeah. Hey, it fits in a bag. We'll be happy, right? And then we're cooking. My team is FNG BBQ. You can imagine what that might mean. Mm-hmm. It means friendly neighborhood guys, just for the record.
Sure.
It's a
But
family show.
that's why the logo is they're all winking, right? We're meant to. At one point when we started this 11, 12, 13, 14 years ago, we were FNGs, friendly neighborhood guys.
Sure.
Duh.
But anyway, so I highly recommend, Pugs talked about this was something we did last year as kind of an experiment. So we threw together a cook and, we cooked for 250 and we were planning on serving from 1 all 6 p.m. We sold out by 4 in the middle of a global pandemic.
Yeah.
With all of the appropriate social distancing regimes in place.
Right.
It was amazing. And we're going gourmet. These are not words that you hear with barbecue at the same time. And I'll talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah, last year, the fundraiser we put on for the Buffalo Food Shelf, they had no idea. It was just something that we kind of decided on. Let's do it for Buffalo Food Shelf. We worked with them in the past. We love working with them. And I think we were able to raise
$1,825.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Boom.
Yep. Because my team donates all their time. We donate the coal. We donate the spices. We donate the sauces. The only thing that we get recovery on is the meat.
Okay.
Because just to give you a sense, one of these briskets that we're getting, like if you go to a Costco and you pick up a brisket today, like a 20-pound packer.
Love that song. Sorry. Yeah, continue, Brad. Continue.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a 20-pound packer at Costco will cost you, I don't know, $60, $70. We're bringing in Wagyu.
Oh, wow. Sure.
A Wagyu Gold is $250 for a packer, and we're bringing 5 of them. And then we're doing Duroc, which on the other side of the fence is like the Wagyu of pork is Duroc.
Okay.
And we're bringing in, it's going to be epic.
Oh, man. Cancel all my appointments for the 28th. I'm going to be busy.
So we know it's $11 a plate. So it's like the best value in town.
No doubt.
Our community is very value oriented. Right?
Yep.
And so it's the best deal in town. If you go to let's say a Birch's on the Lake and order something off their menu that has Wagyu in it, it's easily a $28 plate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there anything in there?
I'm looking.
There's a little bit more, but yep.
I have a tiny little Hayes Public House glass right up there.
Oh yeah,
I put all my little trophies.
he
up
can have
there.
some of mine too if that's not enough.
Yeah, we can share glasses now. The pandemic's over.
So as we right, yeah, it ended noon
this
today.
for me really quick?
Yeah, hold on. Excuse me. What are we drinking here?
All right, well, not to get off subject, but
We'll skew back.
yeah. So this one here is we call it Over the Bar Pale Ale. It's a double dry hop pale ale. It's actually a collaboration beer that we did with a team that we sponsored down in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. It's a Irish hurling team. It's an Irish sport.
It has nothing to do with too much imbibe and
Hurl,
it's the sport, right?
Same word, different meaning. It's an awesome sport. If you guys ever get a chance, hop on YouTube and check it out. It's Gaelic hurling or Irish hurling or just hurling, whatever. But we sponsor a team down there, and one of the guys came up and actually brewed it with us, and we plan on bringing it to the games down there and sharing it as a team thing. So, yeah, double dry hop pale ale.
It's fantastic.
It's very good. You haven't had it too long, have you? Because I feel like, I have. It's not too long since I've been there, and this is new to me.
Yeah, I think the reason why we wanted to get in on a sponsorship is because not only just to spread the brand a little bit more and get into something a little that coincides with, what we do at the pub, an Irish pub or whatever, an Irish sport, blah, 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 but also the league is looking to kind of expand and possibly get into opening it up to youth and starting kids off and having it a youth thing. So it's really cool to be a part of it and be a part of the league.
Yeah.
So you're advocating for hurling as one of the options that we have in the community center.
Possibly. I mean, the team wants to actually come out at some point and do demonstrations and set up at the pub and do a demonstrations day, even just using the parking lot, or if I can get the city to allow us to use one of the local fields.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be a hurling field just to do demonstrations and just to show people what it's all about. But, so yeah.
Question. What American sport is it most like?
So
I'm a very sheltered
It
person.
pretty much predates everything that we know as far as American sports and many other sports too. But it's like lacrosse, field hockey, baseball,
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So like whack bat.
Whack bat. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
whack bat.
yeah, whack bat.
I used to play whack bat.
Yeah,
Never heard of whack
it's-
bat.
It's known as the fastest game on turf or on green, and it dates back like 2,000 years or something like that. So
Sure.
it's very old, very traditional.
Quidditch on the ground.
No, I don't think it's anything like that.
That does not reflect any of the opinion based
Yeah.
here on the Community Podcast. Well, let's talk about the community center and art center. And I think that's a good transition.
Yeah, I think, just like we see on Facebook in Buffalo, when Chipotle coming, we see a lot of conversation about why doesn't Buffalo have a community center? I mean, we're a community of 16,000, 17,000 people now, right? We're the county seat of Wright County, and we don't have any of those amenities in our community. And so this isn't about forcing it onto the community. This is about having a dialogue about what are our needs, right? If you want to reduce taxes in Buffalo, that's a topic of conversation you see on the interwebs. Best way to reduce taxes, grow the community. Yeah. How do you grow the community? You create an environment where people want to spend their time, their dollars, their effort, in the community. So it really becomes a conversation about amenities. And this is a big, giant hole in our portfolio of things that we have to offer as a community. And so for it to start, you can't go to the city and say, hey, city, can we please have a community center? No, it's about us as community members rallying around the notion, having that feedback, having that input, and then do something about it, right? And so that's what we're doing. We're gonna cook, we're gonna dance, we're gonna drink some beers, look at some cool cars, and raise awareness on the topic. That's as far as it gets. We'll have a big tent as part of the whole show, and in that 20 by 30 big tent, there's going to be representatives from, let's say, Buffalo Community Theater, Buffalo Arts Council, Friends of the Community Center. We have an art guild. Did you know we had an art guild in town?
I did know that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you know we have a very vibrant public cable group?
Is that
Public
isn't that
cable.
what your dad did?
Cable access.
Yeah, my dad used to do it for Jones Intercable.
That was actually Mark and I's first production together.
And the art guild used to be right next door to the pub. We used to do things together, some collaboration type stuff, whatever. One of the members used to make pottery, and he would make us these mugs, and then we would sell them, whatever, and get a cut. But I think to piggyback on that too, it's not, I think, equally important, or maybe even more important. It's not necessarily what our age group needs. We need to think about what our youth needs, like our up and coming.
Sure.
Youth. A place to do theater, a place to do music or live music or whatever, to learn and just to push, youth, everything.
Yep. And then again, just to clarify, this is a fundraiser, and this is not raising funds towards building this thing. This is raising funds towards
Advocating.
Yep.
And what's the mechanics? It takes money, right? What are the mechanics of collecting feedback, right? What are the things that we need to be able to offer in the community center part, right? The Friends of the Community Center group, dedicated group of folks, and they have a plan. They put together hey, we need a pool, we need pickleball, we need tennis, we need, right? Because a lot of people ask, right? We have the school system, right? We have these great systems and facilities for the school. They're booked out. They're full. We're a community of 16,000 people with a halo of 50, 60, 80,000 people. Those facilities are booked out. They're rented by dance troupes. They're rented by churches. They're rented by sports teams. They're rented by their use. So it's not like if we do this, something is being unused somewhere else.
Sure.
Right? This is incremental. And again, we're going to run this thing like a business when we get there, right? So every business has to have a business plan, has to have an operating model, has to have its mechanisms to pay its own way. So those are all the things that we want to talk about in the Big Ten.
Sure. 30,000 foot view. Is this something that we think that is going to be city owned? Is it going to be privately owned? Is it going to be nonprofit owned? Maybe that's putting the cart before the horse.
I think yes.
Okay, perfect.
We don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because we need to be able to generate, for example, Monticello, they have a new beautiful community center, right? and Hutch. We see a lot of conversation about Hutch has got a water.
That was a hot
facility.
topic this week.
Right? Hot topic. Well, how did that become? Right? If you go ask those groups that run those organizations, how did they become? It started with a group of civically minded people that wanted to make this kind of thing happen, right? And at the end of the day, yes, there will have to be taxpayer support. Like in my dream, we've got this government center, right? I think about things, but I can't figure out a way to repurpose, cinder block wall prison cells that face the beautiful lake into something other than a prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've got this facility that something's got to happen to it. It's got to get knocked down, right? And guess what? Those conversations are happening with the Economic Development Authority from Wright County, right? Those conversations are happening as part of the Buffalo 2040 planning.
Yep.
So in the Big Tent, guess who we want to have there? We want to have somebody from the city talking about, here's what we've collected so far in those flash votes or the 2040 planning. Right?
I think one of the things that I notice is the most outspoken people are online and Facebook are also the people that don't fill those things out.
Right.
And whenever I get that, I mean, I always fill them out. I mean, one, it's nice, but then when you see the results of the city's asking, the city's asking everybody, what's your input here? They're not going to, they don't care what you said on Facebook on a Tuesday at 3 a.m.
That's not the mechanism to collect information.
No.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways to provide that feedback. There's programs, there's people wanting to do this. So it's maybe like a public service announcement. It's like, get off Facebook and get involved if you really care about it.
Right here.
And you can go there on August 28th from noon to 10 p.m.
You could even cut out a few of those words and just stick it to get off Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Well, except when you're
Thank you.
tuning in
Except when
every
you're tuning-
Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. for the podcast. But besides that part, but yeah, absolutely. It's one. That's why we do it. Is that community involvement? So I'm glad to see more of a grassroots effort, because big things don't happen, on little shoulders. That's it. Hey, can you put that as a star swipe across the screen here?
Profound.
But
The more you know.
but no, that's so. Yeah, thank you for doing that. We'll join. I think it's glad
I'm going to be shameless about plugging this. Please go to the website, pre-order. We will sell out on the food. I guarantee you, we will sell out on the food. So if you buy a ticket ahead of time, I'm guaranteeing that you're going to get your meal.
Right.
Awesome.
And you have from 1 all 5:30 p.m. to pick it up. And if you don't, I'm selling it again because it's going to a good cause.
Perfect. I accept those terms.
Yeah.
As soon as we hang up this, I'll
Super
go buy
simple.
mine.
Hit a button. How many Wagyu meals do you want? How many Duroc meals do you want? And we've got to talk a little. Can I talk a little bit about how we're giving you choices around plating options?
Yes, please.
All right.
Excited.
We got time.
I
but,
get excited.
Right.
All right. So
let's open another one of these.
Yeah.
Let's get some audio on.
So you get to plate. You get two choices. All right. So you pick your protein. Right. Do you want the Wagyu or you want the Duroc? Right. And then do you want it as a traditional Sammy? Right. So a traditional sandwich is cheapest bun I can find. Put the protein on there. Get some slaw on there. Get a tasty sauce on there. 2 bread and butter pickles from the old Gedney. We're taking advantage of our Minnesota roots here. Put the bun on the top. That's a sandwich. Won awards in that just
Fudge.
basic delivery, right? Or you can have it as 3 street tacos with a flour tortilla, right? Grilled on spot, right? Heated up flour tortilla, a little bit of protein, some Minnesota-made Betcha Fermentcha Kimchi. Okay, this is going to weird people out maybe. A little bit of kimchi with a drizzle of jalapeno aioli.
Oh man,
That's the route I'm
good.
going.
that's me.
That's the route
That's a
I'm
street.
going.
I'm a street taco fan.
And
Yep.
it will haunt your
Is
memory.
that what you had 4th of July?
Yeah.
Was it 4th of July?
Yeah. Yeah, except we did pork belly.
For the pool party?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh man, I love inside jokes.
The only thing better than these 3 street tacos is leftovers with 3 more street tacos.
That's a T-shirt right there.
Yeah.
So then we can't stop there. So Gather, what I would argue is 2 of our best restaurant options in town. Gather,
Previous guest.
I was just going to say,
and Evelyn's.
before we get too far into it, we do have to say that this isn't just Hayes Public House. This isn't just, the barbecue guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that are involved in this. And even I don't know, it's crazy how many people that are behind the scenes doing this. I mean, we got the Abundant Kitchen, we have Gather, Evelyn's might be doing something, Christy at Evelyn's.
Not might, is. Yep.
We have all these people that are donating for the gift bags for the people that register their cars. We have
Buffalo Books. They're in there.
Buffalo Books gave
Edina Realty.
buttons and gift cards and stuff for the gift bags for the cars. We got Crummy Boy's shop who does all our laser etching. He's custom making the dash plaques for each car. We got special shout out. Thank you to Johnny Fish at Fish Sunflowers. He's donating the trailer.
Also a previous guest.
Yeah. He's donating the trailer for the band to play on. So yeah, there's so many people that are in on this and that are a part of it, and huge thank you for all that support and joining us in on this, because it's.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a village to pull this stuff off. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it without the village, and
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to deliver it at an $11 price point.
Obviously, Terry.
Yes.
Mayor Terry. Come on.
Huge shout out to the city for being super helpful on all this stuff.
Yeah. Everyone in the city that's hung our flyers, just as a thank you, just for hanging the flyer up.
Right.
It's a big deal.
Huge group effort.
Yeah.
So Gather's making a mac and cheese.
I'm sure it's going to be
It's
outrageously
going to be amazing.
good.
Right, farm to table living, right?
Yep.
And then
I'm
she's
so
making the
hungry
beans.
right now.
She's making the beans.
Yep.
And then Evelyn's Wine Bar and Muffy's, right? She's donating Aunt Evelyn's potato salad, some super secret recipe that will.
She talked about that.
You know what I've heard? I've heard it's the berries.
It is the berries.
Yeah.
Go back to episode 37.
It always comes out of the berries.
That's fantastic.
Pugs, what are we drinking?
This is basically our flagship beer, not by choice, but sometimes you don't get to choose your flagship. But this is our Irish Red.
People's choice?
People's
Is that what
choice.
you mean?
Yeah, always a good beer.
Make what sells.
That's it.
It's one of my favorites. Actually, the last one we had is maybe my new favorite that you make.
Well, there's a couple of good ones. I love the stout. It's a staple, right? Horbin's Hammer.
We're very proud of the fact that we have 6 traditional hand pulls on pretty much all the time. It's something new that we started this year. I love cask beer. I love tradition. And to be able to have that is pretty awesome, to offer that to the customers that have never experienced cask ale or have never experienced traditionally hand-pulled beer.
Sure. Explain that. That's what I was going to stop you there. So, dumb it down a little bit.
Okay, so traditionally in Britain and other parts of the world, I'm sure, most beer was pulled from the cellar. It was never pushed with CO2 the way that you see, or what we call now draft beer. So technically, in the cellar, you would have all your casks, and you would draw from the cellar by pulling the beer.
Sure.
Like that well out in the grandparents' house, you pump the handle.
Oh, yeah.
It's that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So traditional hand pulled beer predates like the nitro faucet of what Guinness is doing. And shout out to Guinness. It's
They're huge fans of the podcast, by the way.
Guinness liked this.
Right.
Guinness liked this.
Yeah.
Guinness is life. So yeah, and then nitro, Guinness kind of went their own way and did their nitro thing and started marketing that. And then the traditionally hand pulled beer kind of went away. But in the last 20 years, there's been a huge movement in Britain to bring it back and go and bring that traditional, just the tradition back. And if you haven't experienced it, it's awesome, and it gives the beer a different taste, a different mouthfeel. It's less carbonated. It's a lot smoother. These are all things that my customers have noticed. They come in, they buy an Irish Red right off the draft, but then they'll order a brown ale, something a little bit similar, a little bit darker. they'll order a brown ale or our stout off the hand pull, and they're like, "Wow, this is a lot smoother."
Okay.
So there's different characteristics between draft beer and hand pulled. And just to be able to have 6 on, it's kind of a dream of mine, a vision of mine that I've been wanting since we opened.
Made it happen.
Yeah, and not very many breweries. I think in Minnesota alone, we're probably the only ones with, some have 1. They'll bring it out for events or whatever, but to have 6 is
Pretty rare.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
proud of it. They're my babies. So
Well, to continue on it, because I see we have another crawler there,
yeah.
because we want to know everything and anything about the people of Buffalo. Tell us a little bit more about the FNG BBQ. How long you been doing it? When did you get started? Why are you doing it?
So it started a number of years ago, so about 14, 15 years. And it started, I was watching, it's a funny story. You'll have to bear with me.
Yeah.
So started as I was watching one of those barbecue pitmaster shows, like season 1 episode. I'm like, that's a thing? Right? You can do this? Like, you can get a bunch of guys together, go cook meat, win prize money and stuff? Like, well, why wouldn't we do that? And so then I happened to be bidding at post-a-bid, right, on an RV, right? And my wife at the time, Nicola, you've met her,
Of course
right?
you were.
Like, why wouldn't you, right? So I sent her a text, and she's in England. She's visiting family. I'm texting her. I'm like, hey, I want to buy an RV. And she goes, well, you got a beeper, right? You're a grown-ass man. You can go do that, right? And I'm like, I just threw the phone away because I got yes.
Yeah.
That's enough information.
Throw the phone away
Max
and
bid.
hit buy. And my whole justification was going to be great. I'll take the kids, but then I'll have a rig to go barbecue.
Pay for prize
Right?
money. It'll be easy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's $1,000 RV. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Besides everything.
Right? And what I didn't see at the time was the follow-up text that said, don't go buy some galactic POS that you're going to have to put a bunch of time, effort, and energy in to get working, right?
Oops.
Right? So long story short, we got the rig, we got it set up so we could cook with it, got it set up so we could camp and to do all the stuff, right? But got it set up to go camping, or to go cooking. And our first competition was in Albert Lea, Minnesota. And we went down to Albert Lea, 2 other guys and myself, and we had the best time. Now let me explain to the viewers what competitive barbecue is. It's exactly like ice fishing, except it's warmer and you eat better.
I love it.
Perfect.
You sit around talking about watching a hole in the ice, right, and drinking beer. Well, that's all we were doing, sitting around watching smokers do smoker things and drinking beer. That's what most of cooking is, right?
That's kind of what brewing is.
So what happens now?
Except you warm when you drink better.
We drink for 6 hours.
Put the shit in here. Move the stuff over here. Then you move it over here, and then you sit.
Yep.
And then you clean and sanitize. Always.
Exactly. That's exactly
What are you doing? Cleaning and sanitizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that first competition, like our whole mindset was, let's not get disqualified. So first of all, there's a governing body. It's the Kansas City Barbecue Society. There are 15,000 members nationwide. So we're talking like National Hot Rod Association has 20,000 members. So it's big,
Kansas
right?
City
Barbecue Society, KCBS, right?
That's something I want.
So there's a whole rule guide. Like you can't do, like there's all these things you can't do. You're scored on appearance, taste, and texture, and you have to do the 4 money
Appearance of the
meats.
food.
Yeah, like food safety, don't kill anybody,
Right.
like it's bad, right? Yeah. So there's all these rules, right? And so our whole mindset was let's go, let's have a great time, and let's just not get disqualified.
Yeah.
I hate
We
that
came
word.
in-
Rules.
Right? We came in 11th out of 55 teams in our first go.
That's pretty awesome.
And we're like, hail the conquering heroes.
Yeah, we're FNG BBQ. What
Yeah,
up now?
now, right? Got about
Yeah.
5 miles out of town and the RV blew a tire. We waited the next 3 hours for somebody that could lift it and take the tire out. But anyway, and then we were hooked, right? The biggest competition we've ever been in was at Treasure Island. That had 85 teams, right, from all over the nation. They came rolling in from the guy in a Honda Civic with a tent to us in our sweet rig, or to the guy with the toter home and the 55-foot commercial trailer, triple axle, got more money than whatever, right? And you play on a level battlefield. and you cook your hearts out to make this product that you get scored on 3 categories: appearance, taste, and texture. Does it look like it belongs in my belly? Does it taste like barbecue's supposed to? And does it have the bite like it's supposed to?
I love it.
Yeah. So we started doing it. We were hooked. We've been doing it for, like I said, 10, 12, 15 years. We got hardware. We've won stuff. You know, we've repeated that 11th place performance. Came in like the best we've ever done is like 3rd place across everything, which is epic. You got 4 money meats, right? Ribs, brisket, pork shoulder, and chicken.
Truly.
What's your favorite?
The most rewarding is actually ribs. Because believe it or not, good ribs, pretty easy to do. Great ribs, hard. Really hard. It's the hardest thing you'll ever. You can't throw, like, our focus is technology, right? So we load our pits up with probes and sensors, and you know, your typical pork shoulder burn will generate 68,000 data points.
Well, everybody knows that.
Yeah, right? Every 6 seconds, what's your meat temp, what's your pit temp, what's your airflow, right? We're capturing.
We jive really well. Like Mr. Technology, we don't even have a freaking TV yet.
I like a handle that makes pumpy.
Yeah, we don't want technology to give us our beer.
So I'm like, who do I want to do this huge event with me?
Yeah.
This guy. Like,
Who put the N in nerd, right?
That's a capital N for all you people
he's
listening.
got spreadsheets and everything for just everything, and I'm just like, what? You can do what?
Yeah. You go, guy.
But by the way, I mean, all that same stuff translates to the Buffalo Community and Arts Center, right? We have to have a plan. We have to have a spreadsheet. Have to be able to stand on its own. Because we're going to make a case to our fellow citizens at some point, right? Maybe as soon as the November 7th election next year, right? With some kind of levy or a bond or what right?
Yep.
We got to make the case, and that nothing like the facts to set everybody straight, right? Of what it would take and what will have to happen.
So how does it get to vote? What's the process between where we're at now and getting a vote on it?
So that is where we have, as community members, we have to come together with a plan.
Yep.
It starts with a plan, both a programming plan, a business plan, a facilities plan with options.
Right.
Right? If we can narrow that down in time, then we approach our city council and our mayor and we say, hey, we got our act together. What is it going to take for us to put this on the bond, right? Or do a bond or a levy or, right?
Sure.
What's it going to take to get on this, right? And that's where we are in the journey.
Yep.
If we don't have our act together by, let's say, May next year, I think we've missed the window, and we'll have to kick it out again, right? So yeah.
So it's the city council that says, "Yep, put this on a ballot."
Yep.
Yep.
That's the governing body that makes that choice of what shows up on.
And it takes
city
time,
business.
and Buffalo kind of has a history of, if you don't have your stuff ready, it's a no. The citizens, if you don't have it ready, it's a no.
Yeah.
From the citizens, they kind of have a track record of that.
And well,
I think what I've seen though in like the almost 8 years that the pub's been open and I've been in the community, is that number one, there's a need. Number two, there's a want. But number three, the community has to support it on a weekly basis. And that, like, on a weekly basis. And that's like with anything that, like, any of our customers, like local customers that have come in and be like, we need a restaurant. Buffalo needs this. We need that. We need that. There's a want, there's a need, but the community also has to be ready to support it.
We've talked about that on this podcast.
Every other weekly,
All circles
monthly,
back to us.
whatever.
I'll never
basis.
forget one of our first conversations, Spugs. I love the fact you got a pub here. It's great. I think it's wonderful. And good on you. And you said, hey, if you really want to support me, you have to stop in and buy 1 pint a week. If I could have every citizen of Buffalo buy 1 pint a week, we'd have no problems keeping this thing
It's
going.
$5 a week. And, there's a want and there's a need.
And you got to support it.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready to support it. Otherwise, bye.
Well, good
It's gonna
ideas
go
are really
somewhere
easy
else.
to come up with, right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea. Well, good ideas don't just come to be.
Yeah. So a lot of folks talk about, like, why don't we have a grocery store downtown? Well, that's economics. There's not enough road traffic. There's not enough foot traffic. Those buildings are expensive.
That was like an easy answer.
Yeah. I mean, I've read the reports. I've had those conversations, and in my line of work, what I do for my day job, like I know the folks at Lund's Byerly's. I know the folks, because that was one of the folks that we'd reached out to. I know the folks at Coburn's, right? I deal in the data and analytics side of the business.
Shocking.
No kidding.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that.
Nerd.
I put the and a nerd. Right? But if you don't have the economics to support a business plan, then it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why Coburn's is going out here where there's traffic versus downtown. Simple.
Yep.
So then we have to find bridge solutions, right, to more than just the traditional 40,000 square foot grocery store footprint, right? We want a small group. Maybe we work with, because Christy is passionate about this over at Gather.
That's what I was just going
Right.
to say. The other
CSA,
ingredient
baby.
to all of this is passion.
Yes.
You have to have the passion to want to do it. Christy has it. Both Christys have
Yes.
it. I'm drawing a blank. What her name is? The restaurant that took
Forget Me
over.
Not?
Forget Me Not.
Yep.
Palmer.
She seems hungry.
Yep.
She's young. She wants it. Like, you have to have that. It's not just about money, economics, whatever. Yes, it is, but you have to have these people that are passionate and want it.
And it doesn't take too many, but it's the support thing. Is not too many people to get it off the ground, but to keep it going after month 1, after month 2, after 1 year is that's a really important thing. And
Or to keep it going when you get set back, you know. When,
Is there any more perfect example in this community than BJ at BJ's Deli?
right.
The guy still gets up
future guest on the Buffalo
every
Community Podcast.
single morning and is passionate about what he does.
Yep.
And he does it well. He's the quintessential entrepreneur community, yeah.
No
he's
question.
He just is.
And brute force, right?
Yeah.
Force of will.
Yeah, very much so. Very much. So.
30 plus years he's been at that corner.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a staple.
So speaking in terms of community as a whole and supporting whatever, but yeah.
Right.
I'd like to support you one more time.
You got
By
till
drinking his free beer.
You got till 7:30. Who wants to
see.
do the honors? Oh, this is 7% chocolate milk stout.
Oh boy.
Anyone lactose intolerant?
No.
Sensitive.
Whatever.
Not intolerant.
It's not a
What
thing.
you do off camera is your problem.
That is not a thing. You are.
And for the
you're
last
not.
half of this podcast, it's just going to be us three. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to spill in the same area that I was spilling in before.
Oh my, that's
It's so
doing?
bad. It's so bad.
Bro.
At least I get to smell it for the next week. Or I could just, oh my gosh, that does smell like chocolate milk.
Just have me on once a week.
done.
All right. Well, it smells like the pub.
Oh yeah, smells like chocolate candy
mean-
bar.
That straight up smells like chocolate milk. Like,
Luke's the big winner on this round.
This was his.
this is going to be a.
This was
a
his.
long episode.
This was his pick because he's like, it has the word stout in it.
I like
Okay.
I almost wore my stout shirt today, but it was dirty, and I was like, I can't put enough Axe spray on this. It's going to kind of take away from it. But I was like, but
Good thing the smell doesn't come through on camera.
That's I like that way more than I thought I would.
yeah.
I was expecting, I think it's the chocolate milk part, like that
Coffee?
it would coat my mouth and
No,
milk-like
it's pretty-
substance. It's
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
For 7%. You don't get any alcohol or
right.
nothing.
Oh, 7%. I'm not coming home with
So do we have a
7:30.
Pugs? Do we have a pairing for Cruise, Brews, and Q?
Bro.
I know we do.
Totally sounds like a setup question. Let us know.
Okay, so, well, let's start with the car show side of things. So you can, unlike the food where he's saying, I would pre-register for sure to get your food.
Right.
With the car show, I would, yes, go for it, but you don't need to. We're gonna, have it wide open. If you're just driving down the street and you're like, hey, car show. We'll have everything set up so that, we'll have a pre-registered line. We'll have a day of line and whatnot. But I think there'll be enough spots. I hope there's not. I hope we are turning cars away because that would be amazing.
Good problem to have.
But we'll see. So that's the car show side of things. You don't have to pre-register. I think we have, I don't know how many cars we have now, like maybe
17.
17?
Definitely 17.
Definitely. Yeah, but we have spots. I mean, what is it, 120?
125.
Yep, definitely
120
125.
spots.
Definitely 125.
And then we even have some overflow, just in case. So now switch over to the music side of things. Like I said, we have 4 bands. First band goes on at 1:30. It's the Broken Heartland String Band. Sorry, it's my buddy Gordon. And they do like early Americana, some bluegrassy, rockabilly kind of stuff. They're really, really good. Second band is going to be the Star Chiefs. They played back in the 50s this year. They do a lot of rockabilly car shows and things like that. And then the third band's going to be Josh Sorheim, who's a friend of mine as well, and he does the same thing, but he also plays with the Star Chiefs, so it's kind of a
Sure.
They play together and they back each other. And then the last band, who's going to be going on at 7 is Robbie V, and he's awesome. Just really well known in Minnesota. His father is actually Bobby V.
Do you guys know who Bobby V?
No, putting me on the spot here. I was kind of hoping we could just,
Stop
keep
it.
going.
I'll make something
Past
up.
that.
How do you not know Bobby?
Here's how I explain it. Remember you all heard, well, we're not old enough to remember, but when the Big Bopper and Richie Valens,
The day music died.
the day that music
Buddy
died.
Holly.
Yep, Buddy Holly. Well, who had to go on stage in North Dakota to take Bobby V?
So long story short, the story that I got was Bobby V was kind of a garage, just him and his brothers and I think another classmate of his were doing music in a band or in the garage and whatever, and they had this gig at what were they? I can't remember what they were doing, but they had this single or something, or no. So what was the concert? The winter that Buddy Holly and they were
68,000 data points in an 18-hour barbecue cook.
You are knocking it out of the park with this story, Pugs.
I'm sorry, but they were supposed to play in Fargo. Okay,
It was awesome.
And that's where the plane was headed. Plane accidentally crashed.
Yep.
Sad story for
Horrible.
every American. Anyway, Bobby signed up to do this gig, and lo and behold, they got it. And they went and they got all matching sweaters, and they went down to this gig, and the guy that was running the gig was like, well, what's your name? Bobby looked on the floor, and he saw his shadow, and he said, we're the Shadows. Bobby V and the Shadows, and that's where that kind of started from. And then they kind of just grew from there, and I think the single, Bobby wrote Take Good Care of My Baby when he was very young, and sent a single down to St. Paul or whatever, and it got,
Cool.
yeah. So anyway,
So
if
his
you know the
kid.
song, Take Good Care of My Baby,
Yep.
that's a huge hit. But
Yep.
there's so many more. I had the opportunity to actually meet him, and it was like, it was amazing.
Is that
It
the
was
sign?
amazing.
Is that
I'm
the signed
not
picture that's
worthy.
on the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, Robbie is his son, and Robbie has played many years with his dad, and so
And and he's going to be here.
Headliner to be
he's
sure.
August
playing
28th.
headliner, Hayes Public House. Robbie V and his Rockin' Caravan, they're awesome. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to this.
I love it.
we're gonna have Red. We all know Red, right?
Yep.
Yep. Opposite of green.
Yep. He'll be outside serving beer. We're setting him up with like a 50s tiki party hut. He'll be serving beer out there. It's gonna be a great time.
That's how we got to this, was the beer pairing, right? Lager.
Oh,
Well-
that's right.
Sure. Yeah, lager, but we're also going to be doing a mango lager that day, which I think will
It'll go good with the
it's
street
gonna,
taco.
It's gonna
yeah.
pull the flavor hints out.
Yep. Love it.
Flavor what?
Flavor hints.
Oh, I
the
thought you
hints,
said
the notes.
They said flavorants.
This is a
I was like, that's a new word.
gastrobiological experience we're trying to create.
68,000 points of data.
68,000 data points.
What
Yeah,
did we
well,
miss? What did we miss? What do we got?
I think, one, go to the website. It is buffalomn.us. Look for the events tab. Purchase your food ticket early. And one, visit it. Go down there. Support everybody in town that you can.
And learn. And
Hey,
engage.
let me say this. If you would love to talk to people who are opposed to this just as much or if not more
Absolutely.
than
Absolutely.
people who are in favor of it.
Yeah, my favorite guy on Facebook is actually Tyler. He's like, we can't afford to do that. How are you going to pay for that?
I would
Right.
suggest.
Yeah.
If
would
I can win
suggest-
Tyler in all this,
See, I was going to talk about this off
I'm
air.
if we can win Tyler, we can win it all.
I would suggest having that conversation with those people at the pub over a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What better place?
No better place.
Everybody's
Absolutely.
friends at a pub. Isn't that the way it
Absolutely.
works?
Yep.
Well, for the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reiss.
I'm Mark Benzer.
Brad Ello?
Pugs.
Solancha.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Oh, I missed that. Thank you, everybody.